This All America Record Store Day Special with Third Man Records.
We've time travelled to the future. Ben's still with us, and I've got Daniel Pujol. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Tell us about the story of you and Third Man. How did they find you? How's this all come about that the guys have released some of your work?
Is it a single live record? Really what happened was, didn't I send out like a mass email and I was looking for a touring drummer? And back when everyone used MySpace before Facebook.
Right, we are going back.
Yeah, way back. I think I just sent out, like I was looking for a drummer that could tour, and you guys had just moved here, right? And I believe you responded, and then you started coming to some shows or something. And
Daniel's gesturing at Ben.
Yeah, so I saw
down.
I saw Daniel play, and then I think the next day was the day this email went out, and I was already kind of enamored with him. I thought he was a pretty interesting and charming dude with some good tunes, and then he sent out this mass email that further intrigued me into the mind of Daniel Pujol.
I hear you have quite some mind, Daniel.
yeah, maybe a little bit too much.
Well, and I'm going to quote this. This was what Ben said to me about you. Probably the most exciting local artist we have in Nashville. Why so, Ben?
Thank you.
Why so?
I just think Daniel's. I mean, I don't want to embarrass him. He's just sitting right here, but
I can do that on my own.
Daniel, I just think he's just a real artist and lives for art, and I think it goes beyond music, and I think he strives to always be and do better in a very positive way. And when you listen to his music, and not necessarily just the Third Man releases, and I would say even more so with his recent Saddle Creek releases, the production is interesting in a very modern way that you don't necessarily hear usually applied to independent rock and roll. It's very specific to him. I don't think that I personally don't find a lot of artists right now that has something that you can just immediately identify as that artist in under 5 seconds of hearing it. I think his music is lyrically important, but also occasionally with a sense of humor. And I think he's one of the few people you can listen to and immediately it's got character and definition in a way that so many things are so dull and cookie cutter, and Daniel is not that in any way. And you hear his music, and it's like a flag in the ground immediately.
Wow.
Lyrically and musically and production wise.
High praise. What do you have to say to that, Daniel?
Thank you.
Coming from Ben
I love you too.
Third Man Records.
I love you too. He's had a very positive impact on my life and my art. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm feeling the love in the room.
Yeah,
What's it like working with Jack?
really easy. We live here in Nashville, and there's 1,000 different people that are doing some kind of music business angle constantly all the time.
Yeah.
And, I guess that was 2010-ish, right? Walking in here and doing that was sort of the first time that I had been engaged with a party that I was making a piece of art with, a label or something like that. And I was engaged a little bit more as like a creative person or an artist, and not necessarily just a potential agent of commerce, where all records are commercials for you to go out into a van and do this vaudeville show in front of people in bars for beer money and things like that. So easy in the sense that the idea of a song and the idea of making a recording is something in itself that should or could actually be respected, and that it's okay to sort of care about what the song is or how it's recorded. It's not just put it in Pro Tools, get it done, get it out there, get in the van, go sell some copies.
Right, yeah, I definitely am not getting that vibe from Third Man. Okay, so for people that haven't come across you yet, Daniel, tell us a little bit about the story of you as a musician. You in bands, you've now solo, is this right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part. I'm in a couple of other bands too, but
Okay.
for PUJOL, the project is basically a solo project.
Right. And are you from Nashville? Are you born and bred Nashville?
No, I'm from Tullahoma, Tennessee, which is kind of east middle Tennessee. I moved here in 2006, I think, is when I moved here.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. That was that before Third Man was here? I think just a bit before, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about, because this is for our Third Man special radio
Mm-hmm.
show, for Record Store Day as well, which you are going to be performing here.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about what it's like working with the Third Man crew.
They're really organized, and it's really easy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just fun. It's fine because it's so organized, and you just show up and do your thing.
And I think probably the only place where when you do the live stuff and you're performing in front of an audience, it's getting recorded. You can't do that anywhere else, right? That's not the norm.
I think you can do it some places, but we think we're probably the only live venue that has the direct to acetate capabilities.
Right.
Other places will do recordings, things like that, but we've kind of made it integral to our process. So we don't have shows here that aren't recorded and released. You know, it's all part and parcel of the bigger picture.
Okay. And we were talking earlier when we were in the show about South by Southwest, and you were playing there, right, Daniel?
Yeah.
How was that? Was that linked to Third Man, or was that completely separate?
Well, you did a thing there, so yeah. I mean, I played a lot of things, but I played their thing.
You did play that thing?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
There's a thing with South by Southwest now that you're not allowed to go and not play 15 shows.
Of course,
so
I forget this.
Ours was just one of many shows he played while he was there.
The latest album is Cludge.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about it.
A bit about it. Mm-hmm. Well, that record is sort of a record about identity and identity construction, and at least over here, the idea that we might be encouraged to manicure and sort of articulate a consistent abstract sense of self, and to what degree remaining consistent with this articulation and this manicured, idealized self,
Okay.
how difficult that is for you as an actual person to be able to interact with external reality and other people. And if they're also doing that, the level of distance between both parties.
I'll break it down in
Okay, thanks, yeah.
at least how I take it.
Okay.
I think in a very reductive sense of what he's saying. I think, I think people have a persona that exists purely online or via a personality that we project through text or emails that
Okay.
isn't necessarily who we really are. And once all we're doing is relating through these constructed forms of communication, that is like, this is my Facebook profile, this is my...
Yeah, Instagram or whatever.
yourself. You
commodified
your own identity. You bought yourself.
And it's just like, when everybody's doing that, when are people ever really getting real with each other and communicating and being human beings?
And so in a really short way, it's basically a 12-song narrative about a narcissist breaking up with himself.
And